Ugh. So, welcome back to Christmas week plus one. This is a movie I've been kind of waiting a while to get to. Um, Heard about it. You hear me say that about a lot of the horror related ones. Heard about it, heard mixed things about it, but I'm gonna check it out. It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a play, and It's a Wonderful Life, and it has a similar premise. An event happens in which our main character, what the hell's her name, Winnie, wishes she was never born. Well, then shit hits the fan. So, and it's a slasher version of It's a Wonderful Life. Uh, so I will start out saying this. I started watching it, and the killer was so obvious. I was just like, "What are they doing? This is just so obvious." And then the way they went with it was like, okay. And then I was with it. Okay, I was with this movie, and then there's even a twist 3/4 of the way through where I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then they turn it on their head in the climax, and I'm just like, wait, what are we doing here? And I also have a bit of an issue with the way the main character's story goes when it comes to her relationship. Because to me, it didn't really make any sense for it to go this way, but it's 2024, it's 2023, and this came out. So you're going to have that kind of relationship and stuff. I'm not against those kind of relationships. I just, when you started the movie, you wouldn't been able to convince me it was going to go that way. We start off in Angel Falls. Our main character is Winnie, right? And she is planning a Christmas night with her friends. She has an aunt who I didn't realize till the end of the movie was a lesbian. It's Catherine Isabel. I didn't realize it was her aunt at first. But yeah, I was like, was that like a friend or something? And the aunt, yeah, oh, that makes sense. She's in her 40s. She's 42 years old. So aunt, yeah, that makes sense. Her dad is Joel McHale, by the way, Starman, and Community. But I know him as Starman from Stargirl. She's out with friends, and this angel killer starts. When I say it's very predictable who he is, so there's this businessman by the name of Henry something or other, played by Justin Long. He's this business guy, and he's trying to convince people to sell him their businesses. There's one guy left, the cigarette smoking guy from the X-Files, who needs to sell his business or something to him in order for him to get the monopoly on this. But the cigarette smoking man says no, and then the cigarette smoking man is the angel killer's first victim. And I went, so Justin Long's the killer, huh? I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, it makes the most. It's so fucking obvious. It's got to be him. And then the killer starts going after the daughter or granddaughter of the cigarette smoking man, who's black. Look, I know you need. I know you feel like you need to have a very culturally appropriate cast. But when you have a cigarette smoking man who is as white as my ass, whiter than a tissue, and his daughter or granddaughter is, I guess she could be mixed race. She looked kind of, I don't want to say light skin. Is light skin? I don't. Could be, I guess. You never know. But I'm just, can we? I know that people will say that an all right and having an all white cast, and I'm not saying this movie needs that. You could have other characters could be black. Why did it have to be the granddaughter or daughter of a white as hell character? There's other characters you could have made that. When I think of it, she's like one of the only characters that is black. Why that character? And why is Idris Elba playing Man-at-Arms when you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan right fucking there? He'd be perfect. But he's not black enough, right? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why can't we? And people will bitch and moan and complain and be like, well, that's what movies are done. But we want it to be accurate. We don't want a black Wonder Man. That's not how he was in the comics. We don't want a black Man-at-Arms. That's not what he was in the cartoon. People are like, well, if you want to like the cartoon, watch the cartoon. That's not the point. The 87 Masters of the Universe movie was heavily criticized for not being like the show. And you're trying to fix that, and you're still not doing it right. And then I looked at the guy who was playing Prince Adam. He has dark hair? Really? I mean, I've seen some pictures where his hair is blonde, but is no one allowed to be blonde? As a blonde person, I am offended by this. I know you can't tell because I'm going bald, but I am blonde. As a blonde person, it irks me that every single character in the movie, now notwithstanding our main character who is blonde, but it seems like most of the time, they're all cast with dark-haired people. And, like, He-Man, the blondest motherfucker in the world, is going to be dark-haired? No. This movie, to be fair, the Masters of the Universe movie should have come out in the 2000s. Before woke was a thing. Anyway, back to this movie. What's the connection with that? Well, I started out ranting about the daughter. Anyway, so the angel killer starts attacking people and trying to kill people, and Winnie subdues and kills him, and surprise, surprise, it's revealed to be Justin Long. Fast forward 1 year later, and everything is just sort of moved on. Except for Winnie, who lost her best friend. Lost her best friend, and as sort of in trying to deal with the trauma. But everyone else has moved on from this, and that's sort of the catalyst of this, is that she feels like people should be doing more grieving. I don't know. And then she finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her with this other girl, Sasha or something. And that's when she decides that it would be better if she wasn't never born. Okay. Now, in It's a Wonderful Life, there was a lot more that went wrong for Jimmy Stewart than this thing. You're telling me that your family not grieving with you and your boyfriend cheating on you, that's it? Unless I missed something. So yeah, she wishes she was never born, which is, in this case, one of the worst things, because now the killings have happened, and her brother is now one of the victims, along with her aunt's girlfriend, wife, whatever, Karen. And no one knows who she is or believes who she is, because she's not born. They're born, she doesn't exist. Yeah. And of course, the killer is still around now, right? Oh, and Justin Long's brother is now the sheriff. But like, yeah, now the killer is still around now, running around still killing people because she didn't stop him in this world, in this timeline of events. Eventually, she convinces the town weirdo Bernie and her aunt of the truth. There's a nice scene where her and her dad are kind of talking about stuff, talking about her brother and everything, and then it sort of goes downhill because like, well, you call me dad, and no, you're not my daughter. I only had one child, and he's dead, and blah 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 blah. And again, it's sort of right after this that they start talking about. So they establish that the mom is now a druggie who has a side piece, and then they start talking about, oh, her husband is never around. He keeps leaving, going and leaving, going in and out at all times of the day. And I'm like, and then the killer shows up, right? They're like, oh, there he goes again, and he leaves. And then a few minutes later, the killer shows up, and I'm like, really? Do they have to make it that easy to figure it out? And sure enough, it's the dad, which is a decent twist, but it feels like executing the twist is the least of what they're trying to do here. Because they're making it so obvious with the dialogue they're throwing out that it's the dad. And you know what? I kind of like it. Oh, the grief of what happened, right? So let's say that the Justin Long killed the brother, and like he snapped and is just going around killing everyone else for a year, trying to get justice because he doesn't know who the killer is, so he kills everyone in town. Eventually he'll get to him, right? Yeah. So the mom gets killed and her side piece, they get killed, and then the three women run off to hide in a movie theater. The killer eventually finds them and kills off Catherine Isabel, because she's not needed anymore, I guess, leaving it down to the other two girls, where they do subdue and kill him. And they made a statement earlier saying that they said, oh, we have to kill Justin Long in order to get back. Well, since the killer is dad, they think that's enough, but it doesn't work. She's still stuck there, and that's when they realize that maybe they still have to kill Justin Long. Okay, and that still makes sense because he was the killer a year prior. So that would make sense for him to do that. And then this is where the movie kind of tanks for me. Right? I also have to mention, I said about her relationship. When they're in a movie theater talking, the two women, they start to flirt, holding hands, and I went, huh, where is this coming from? I'll get more into it in a minute. Like I said, I'm not against this kind of relationship. It just feels like they pulled it out of their ass, and we'll get to it. So, when they get to Justin Long, he's in the town square, standing in front of a crowd. And as they get closer and closer, you start to realize that the people in the crowd have all been hypnotized. Like, Justin Long has some sort of mind control powers. But then they established that he was controlling the dad so that he could get the deals done. If you can mind control people, why do you need him to get the businesses? And where did this ability come from that he just pulled out of his ass because he didn't have that in the other reality. He just has it now. And again, if it had been where it's revealed that it's the dad, and there's some kind of showdown, and she has to kill her dad to get back, and doesn't know if she can do it, I think that would be more than just, well, it's her dad is the killer, but you still have to kill Justin Long, and now he has mind control powers or something. And his brother, the sheriff, wants to move on from this, so he kills him. And then, like, the girls snap and both kill Justin Long. I like how the crowd starts to snap out of it and they attack him, but the girls ultimately do kill him. And then the Aurora comes back and she essentially wishes to go back. After the girls have a kiss, now's where I'll talk about it. Well, no, I'll go on. So she wakes up in her bed. She's back in her own reality, and her brother's back. Her other aunt is back. And her family says that they should have allowed her to grieve and should have been more sensitive. And then she realizes, oh, Bernie, and runs after her. And we get an homage to It's a Wonderful Life, where she's running through the town. Merry Christmas, this building. Merry Christmas, bank and loan. Merry Christmas. Yeah, that whole, yeah. Just like It's a Wonderful Life. By the way, could you imagine an actual slasher version of It's a Wonderful Life? Well, I'm trying to tell you, Mary. There's a killer out there dressed as an angel. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It was Clarence all along. Oh, Clarence. No. Let's face it, if it was that, it would probably be someone working for the bank manager guy, which would be the Justin Long character, right? Because that's what it was. But the bank guy, or whatever he was in a wheelchair in that movie where, you know, Justin Long's just kind of annoying. He sounds like a televangelist. I'm just trying to make this town better. Or whatever I don't know what he's trying to do. But, yeah. And so she runs to Bernie's house, and magically, Bernie remembers everything. They do sort of hint at something like that when they first interact in the alternate world, which is like, where they hint that she knows Winnie. But yeah, it's implied that they're going to be a couple now, and now I'll talk about it. At the beginning of this movie, she was firmly straight. She had a boyfriend. She got pissed off when the boyfriend cheated on her. She even made a comment about the sweatsuit or whatever that she was given being a lesbian sweatsuit. Like, she was firmly against this. Not, firmly, because obviously her aunt, but like firmly against being one. Only for her to eventually at least be bi, I guess, and have a same-sex relationship with another woman. It's just kind of out of the blue. I don't want to say it feels forced, but when you start out with this character who was essentially straight, and by the end she's not, I don't know, it feels like to me, if you want to save your town, all you gotta do is be a lesbian. I don't know. That probably not the message, because she saved it when she was still straight. I don't know. It's just weird. And that's the overall feeling of the movie itself. Weird. I'll give it a middle of the road, because it's, I don't know. It's not as good as I expected it to be, but it's fine. Just fine. It's a little weird. Like I said, it kind of dips with the final act, with the whole hypnotizing thing, because it really doesn't make any sense. Where did these hypnotizing powers come from? They say that after he killed the son, that's when the dad snapped and he was able to control him. He broke him. So you have to break people to control them, break them down, break their spirits. So is that why he's still having the dad kill so he can break people's spirits and take. So that's very convoluted. It's the only way you can take over people's minds is to break the spirit. It takes a lot. I don't know. But like I said, it's the middle of the road. It's fine. Not a very good start to this year's Christmas. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on It's a Wonderful Knife? Leave a comment, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.